The next big solar storm could knock out power grids and the internet around the world. Even if the power comes back, we may still find ourselves facing an internet apocalypse. The vulnerabilities present in our current global internet infrastructures have been outlined in a recent paper by UC Irvine professor Sangeetha Abdu-Jyothi. Although the undersea cables responsible for the internet may be physically resilient, their electronic systems are vulnerable to the resulting radiation from a solar storm. This would mean that if a particularly strong solar storm were to take place, we would need to repair or even replace some of the components, like repeaters, used on these undersea cables. With roughly 380 of these cables spanning 745,645 miles in total, widespread damage to these systems would take a considerable amount of time and resources to repair. The cost of such an event doesn't end there. An internet outage on a national scale may cost the U.S. economy up to $7.2 billion per day. Countless businesses and services rely on the internet to function, so a mass internet outage could easily end up causing irreparable damage to our society. Families would lose contact with each other, banking systems would come offline, and millions of people working from home would lose their livelihoods. It's not a matter of if this catastrophic solar storm will hit, but when. As the Sun enters its 25th solar cycle since we started keeping track in 1755, it may also be entering a new period of magnetic activity. Although scientists believe this cycle will be as tame as the last one, that doesn't discount the possibility of a freak solar storm occurring. The Sunstorm, a European Space Agency satellite, has started taking readings of X-rays emitted by the Sun during solar flare events and hopes to improve our lead time in the event of a solar storm. So what exactly happens during a solar storm? Well, these are actually relatively common. Solar storms and solar flares can happen as often as several times a day. Most of the time, there is nothing to worry about. The energy and particles emitted by solar storms rarely travel along a trajectory intercepting Earth. What commonly reaches Earth also isn't powerful enough to affect us or our technology. This is thanks to the Earth's magnetosphere, protecting us from solar radiation and other sources of cosmic radiation. At the northern and southern poles, where this interaction happens most often, it even extends some magnificent auras further from the poles than normal. As beautiful as they are, seeing one outside your window should be cause for concern if you live closer to the equator. Solar storms have already interfered with our technology in the past. In 1859, the Carrington event, the strongest solar storm recorded, disrupted telegraph systems around the world. Another solar storm in August of 1972 likely set off naval mines near the coast of Vietnam. While these solar storms were among the most powerful recorded in modern history, one incident in 1989 may be enough proof that we need to take the necessary precautions for the next great solar storm. In March of 1989, a powerful solar flare breached the atmosphere near Quebec, Canada. The ensuing radiation from the event caused the city's power grid to fail, leaving 9 million households offline for 9 hours. A second storm in the area later in the year also halted the Toronto Stock Exchange for 3 hours, despite its supposed fault-tolerant computer. Solar storms happen fast and can hit our systems extremely hard. The only way we could protect our systems from them would be through deliberate improvements to our existing infrastructures. Jyothi's research contains some suggestions on how we could bolster network infrastructures to protect ourselves from this very unique threat. For example, further work must be done on our internet cable systems to allow any failures to only affect isolated areas, cutting down on the work required to repair them. This would come in especially handy for undersea cables at higher latitudes, closer to the poles. We also need alternative connectivity methods. Peer-to-peer networks or networks powered by users in a localized area could be utilized if the main systems fail. This technology is already in development, as wireless mesh networks have been proposed to be used by emergency services in the event of natural disasters such as earthquakes or tsunamis. Despite the Internet's near total ubiquity in modern society, there isn't any existing research on how large-scale network infrastructure failure may be avoided. Currently, our resources only offer us potential solutions in the event of localized internet failures. But if Murphy's Law is to be trusted, anything that can go wrong will go wrong in a matter of time. Until then, all we can do is prepare.